Hat on so I look a little. Okay, folks. I guess this hat makes me a little more astute. I don't know. I look a little grubby, but that's my condition right now. That's the way they want me to look. That's why they put me out on the street to live. Anyway, this video is called Homosexual Night for the Portland Police because I remember back in the late 60s and early 70s, sorry about that. A little bit of need for more room here. Those are the things that happen when you're... Anyway, I'll get back to the story here. Back in the late 60s, when I first got here in the early 70s, the Portland Police Department seemed to have this night every weekend. They would go to places like Laurelhurst Park, or they would go to the big park up on the hill there, Washington Park. And the reason why they would go there is because these areas were used by homosexual men to solicit. They would go around soliciting the youngsters that were in the park, or each other, whichever was the case. But there were a few cops, more than a few cops, who took advantage of the solicitation laws that were in place at the time to go out and severely beat homosexual men who were soliciting. Rather than arrest them and charge them, they would severely beat them. And I remember distinctly the cops at the time even saying something to the effect that, now when I say this word, it don't mean nothing, okay? Nothing to anybody else, but they called it faggot night. And that was code word for let's go find some homosexuals soliciting in the park so they could beat them up. That's how they were taking their aggressions out on the citizens. You know, they would pick classes of citizens to aggress on, and the homosexual population was one of them. And the glorification of homosexuality now kind of confuses me, because at one time the cops were arresting people for soliciting for sexual whatever. So I just wanted to impart that, because there seems to be, and this has always been a Democratic town, you know, and I used to be a Democrat, but now I'm an independent person. And we vote for whoever does the best things. In any event, I just wanted to let you know about because some of these cops from those days are still on the force. And they're the ones that are teaching the youngsters when they come on the force. They're the ones teaching the youngsters to either be good cops or bad cops. The academy doesn't, I guess, touch on if you have a partner that's trying to get you to bad things, to do bad things, what do you do? Because that's what happens. They start initiating the new recruit into their way of doing things, and see what kind of a response they get from the new recruit. If he gives a positive response to doing bad things, then that's how it happens. But if the recruit says, no, you know what, man, I'm not doing that shit, okay? Now, it takes a very special police officer to say, no, I'm not going to do that. It's against the law. I'm not going to participate. And if you do it, I will report you. That's all it takes, folks. Enough of this banding together by the police, protecting each other, violating civil rights of the people, like they took 2 cars from me and put me out living on the street. Look at, I live in a, you know, there's my wheelchair right there, sitting right there, my wheelchair, okay? And it's a motorized wheelchair. So that's how I live, because this is where they put me, because I have always had a sight for a police accountability going back over 20 years ago. Most people maybe not remember me, but they took my site down in 2015. I had 190 videos on it, all about police accountability, okay? Because that's what I'm about. Ever since the time, March 30th, 1980, when the police, 3 of them, severely beat me in front of my son for no reason at all. He was 4.5 years old. That traumatized him. That gave him post-traumatic stress disorder. He has uncommon fears, anxiety, disassociation, and other.
Worry.
So that's what they did to him. And they've done that to me, beat me severely. And in front of him, and then a second time on the way down to jail, they beat me another time right out in front of the Catholic school on Stark Street. I think 28th, somewhere around there, or 18th. Yeah, they beat me severely right there, too. They took me out of the car and hogtied me and beat me up really bad. And there was no crime. Hold on, what happened? I went off the video. How do I get back?
Well, you're still live.
Oh, there I am. For no crime. There was no crime committed. They couldn't charge me with anything. The only thing they could charge me with is having a curtain across the back seat of my Chevy Nomad wagon. I had a Chevy Nomad with the 348 and 3 deuces on it. And I had a curtain across the back of it, around the back side of it, so I could change my son's diapers and clean him up and stuff. And somebody called in and said something to the effect that there's a guy with a kid, blah, 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 you know. Who knows what they said. And I got severely beaten up for resisting their attempts to bother me when there was nothing going on. I was in a good parking space. So that impressed me to the point where I decided that I was going to not let that happen to me again, and I was going to advocate for myself. And I have suffered tremendously for doing this, okay? Because I'm a target, nonstop a target of the police. When I call them up to protect me, they don't come. When someone commits a crime on us, they charge us with the crime. Yeah, that's what they've been doing. I got kicked by an employee of Par Lumber Company. I got the case. I did. And I'm in a wheelchair. I can hardly lift my hands or my arms and legs, you know, to do anything. My son has to pretty much cook for me, help me dress, and other things, you know. And he's a saint for doing all that stuff, you know, especially under these circumstances. The city wants me living on the street, folks. That's the truth of the matter. They want us here because we have a multi-million-dollar lawsuit filed in U.S. District Court against the city of Portland, and we're filing another one in Circuit Court. When this one is done, we're going to file another one. And that one's going to be against the individual players who are going to lose their immunity, okay, after we prove that they were instrumental in conspiring to take our constitutional rights and our civil rights away from us, because that's the criteria for taking their qualified immunity from them. You have to show that they purposely and maliciously took constitutional rights from you and your property and denied you equal rights, equal protection under the law. So we have that lawsuit going on, and even though we get abused by other people and get charged, like my son just got charged for protecting me from a woman who was going to hit me over the head with a nightstick. He got charged for it because he protected me from her and grabbed the stick.
I got charged with interfering with her.
The judge said you interfere with her to harass her?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
what she was doing.
Well, we're going to publish the whole case everything about it, because you're not going to believe the shit that was pulled on us by the DA. Now here they are turning down cases of major assaults, all kinds of heinous crimes they're turning away, but they want to prosecute this crime pulled on me. I was the person sitting in the wheelchair, and this woman was going to beat me over the head with a big, big club with a handle on the side. You know the kind I'm talking about. Yeah. She got out of her car, out of the safety of her car, went around to the back of her vehicle and got a club out to hit me with. And my son ran over and blocked it. Okay? He got charged because the district attorney was corrupt and immoral. He schooled those witnesses to say certain things.
And they all repeated the same.
And they all repeated the same damn lie, all three of them.
They all missed the most important part.
Yeah, and when you look at the testimony, what they testified to, you're not going to believe this. I mean, it's just simply outrageous that they would prosecute. The only reason why they prosecuted him is because of the lawsuit, and he doesn't have anything on his record at all. Okay, they're trying to dirty up his record. He's like 46 and he has no record. Okay, they got nothing.
Not even a parking or a driving.
No parking, nothing. Misdemeanor 20 years ago, 3rd degree, nothing. Okay, me, nothing. Since 1995, nothing. I got nothing on me neither. And we know the risk of having this site and exposing them and their lies. My next video is going to be about a police murder, another police murder that we witnessed on Martin Luther King Boulevard, a black woman. And I'll do that video next.